Alright, hey folks. So, this episode is brought to you by Maker's Mark Bourbon Whiskey. It's actually not bad at all. On the rocks. I'm not really a fan of neat. I just like it on the rocks. It's okay. Well, to be honest, I'm just not really a fan of straight whiskey. I mean, it's an acquired taste, but once you put it on ice, it gets watered down a little bit. Once it gets a little bit watered down, to me, it's like it's right at the point of enjoyment. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of a serious topic today. So, as a nation, we are pretty divided. Somewhere, yeah, it was probably right around 2008. I started listening to Glenn Beck on conservative local talk radio, and then I started listening to Rush Limbaugh, and I started listening to Neil Bortz. Started listening to the Savage Nation, Brian Savage, I think his name is. Anyway, basically, throughout pretty much the entire Obama administration, I become really, really ensconced with conservative news outlets. I've always kind of categorized myself as pretty much about 25% right of center. I mean, if we have, center and we have 100% over here and 100% over here, I've always considered myself about 25% right of center. I guess for you, right of center. But anyway, so during the whole, most notably during the healthcare debate in 2009, when everybody was just going absolutely bonkers over that, I started really getting into talk radio, and I started watching Fox News almost religiously. Because at the time, they basically espoused my values. They basically espoused my way of thinking. And so I, aligned with a lot of the message that they were saying. And I used to watch the Sean Hannity show. I was never really a fan of Bill O'Reilly, so I didn't really watch him all that much, but I really enjoyed watching the Sean Hannity show because he would always have those interviews where there's a conservative and a liberal, and they would just go absolute bonkers crazy. But anyway, leading up to this most recent election, I was listening in the morning when I get off work. I got off work in the morning, so I would listen to Herman Cain in the car. And, the entire primaries and the entire fall leading up to the election. And then when I woke up at night and I was going to work, I would usually listen to Dana Lash, I think. Yeah, I would usually listen to her. And once I got to work, I'd usually have my iPad, so I'd pull up Fox News. I mean, we're talking completely ensconced. It was about the end of the election cycle. Well, I guess leading up to that, pretty much when Donald Trump threw his hat in the ring, I was really excited for Donald Trump because it's like, finally, we got a businessman. We got this, that, and the other. It's going to be great. As the campaign season started going, I got more and more disenfranchised with the message of Donald Trump. So, the more he went on, the more he stuck his foot in his mouth. He just kept on saying just all kinds of tomfoolery. It was just nonsense. And he just kept on espousing more and more and more nonsense. And it's like, yeah, the man has a successful business track record. Some people argue about that, but yeah. So I was like, well, at least he's successful in that nature. But again, we go back to morals, back to ethics. There's some unsavory skeletons in that closet. So it was really hard for me in the end to align with Donald Trump. And it was impossible to align with Hillary. So I just went and voted for Gary Johnson because I was like, out of the three buffoons that are on the ticket, I actually like some of what Gary Johnson has to say. I actually like some of the positions that he has. And quite frankly, this is the first time since Ross Perot that a third party candidate has been on the ballot for Oklahoma. I think it's time to show some support for that. Vote with your wallet. So I voted for Gary Johnson. So I came home. As soon as I walked in the door, I immediately turned on Fox News because I was like, this is going to be interesting just to see how they react to the whole Hillary Clinton thing. So I got my popcorn, I got my beer, I got my dinner, I got my Fox News. I'm sitting here, I'm just ready. And so pretty much we all know how history goes. Throughout the course of the night, the direction changed ever so slowly, but it started to change. And it was really interesting to watch Fox News as the direction was changing because you could tell that they're just feeling all kinds of vindication, beating their chest, jumping up and down. It was funny. So at about 2 a.m, they called it. Donald Trump won the presidency. So after he won, there was something during the campaigning process leading up to that. I started to, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So he wins. I listened to a little bit of talk radio, but it was just something was missing, and I don't know if it was the radio or if it was myself. I decided to make a New Year's resolution, and I was like, I'm just going to block out all mainstream media. So no CNN, no MSNBC, no Fox News, no conservative radio, no this, that, and the other. So basically, all I'm going to do in the car is listen to music, which is what I used to do. And then when I come home, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch entertainment, which is what I used to do. So I watch sitcoms, I watch movies, I play video games. The only news that I get is basically what comes across my desk at the work that I do. And to be quite honest, it wasn't really all that biased. It was pretty much middle of the road, and especially the way we cut it, the way our producer writes it. Our producer definitely adds a much more middle ground stand. It would usually be what we call a VOSOT, which is pretty much a voice over video, and then a soundbite, and then more voice over video. So basically, the beginning of the story, when it comes to political issues, is we would put one position, and then we run a soundbite, and then we put the other position. And sometimes the soundbite of the interview would either solidify the first position or solidify the second position. So it was just pretty much we would run both sides of the story. It was kind of refreshing in that manner, and that's basically something you only get on local news. It's not something you're going to get on national news, because national news, they always have an agenda. Or maybe it's just our producers just really want to be center of the road and want to give both stories, which kudos to our producers at the station. I just I blocked out all the nonsense, and I noticed, it took months probably of deprogramming, but I noticed by about August that there was a calm in my being. There was more an acceptance of things that I can't control, because when you're watching and listening to either liberal talk radio, liberal news, or conservative talk radio, conservative news, there's always an agenda, there's always a bias, there's always an aggressiveness for the message. What I've come to realize and what I've come to see now is all these news outlets, especially cable news, especially 24-hour news outlets, it's just an echo chamber. The pundits on the radio or on the TV are saying what the listeners and the viewers are expecting them to say. And the listeners and the viewers are accepting what they're saying as the gospel truth. It is the absolute definition of an echo chamber. It's just swirling around. And I notice it's like, as I said, I've been completely detached from all this. And I went over to my family's house for Thanksgiving. And as soon as I walk in, they have Fox News on, because basically my entire family is all conservative. And I'm just sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, this is just such nonsense. This is so stupid. They're just sitting here yelling at each other about a bunch of BS nobody can help. They're just screaming about this. It's like, who cares? And it's really interesting to see my family so like opinionated on just nonsense. They have an opinion on the do we stand or do we kneel at the national anthem. It's like, who gives a crap? Who really cares? Who freaking cares about who stands or who kneels at the national anthem? The freaking athletes. It's stupid. And then they have an opinion about whether or not gay marriage is okay. Again, who cares? It's already been law. We can't do anything about it. And the big bombshell of them all, freaking abortion. We got to argue until oblivion about abortion. It's been the law for 40 years now. There's nothing we can do to change it. How about instead of just everybody yelling and arguing about abortion all the time, let's freaking yell and argue about abstinence and about keeping your legs closed. If there's no fetus, there's no abortion. That's what we need to start yelling about, is for people to just keep their legs closed. It's so stupid. They get so worked up over these issues. And then don't even get me started on freaking net neutrality. Everybody's all up in arms about that. And it's just, that was what was hysterical, is right now, they got the whole net neutrality thing on Fox News. And for some idiotic reason, I don't know why, but it's the conservative position that let the free market take care of it. The free market will work itself out. It doesn't work, people. It's not the free market because it's a monopoly. It's a monopoly. The free market works whenever we're talking about who makes the better tacos, Taco Bueno, Taco Bell, or Taco Cabana. We go and we vote with our wallet. Who makes the best tacos? It's done. Who makes the best pizza? Pizza Hut, Domino's, or Papa John's. We vote with our wallet. We pick who has the best pizza, who has the best theater, Cinemark, Regal, AMC. We vote with our wallet. But when it comes to our internet, nobody has a choice. The only way I can change providers is I have to sell my home and freaking move across town to somewhere else to get another thing. That's the only way that I can change my internet provider. And that's the thing that's so ridiculous about that is everybody saying, oh, let the market decide. Let the market figure it out. We need to have no government control. It's the internet, you idiots. It was invented by the government. And furthermore, what about electricity? What about water? What about gas? When it comes to natural gas, when it comes to electricity, when it comes to water, when it comes to utilities, there's pretty much one provider. And the government kind of has a hand in that. So what's so wrong with having the government have a hand in the internet? And what I was told, this is the most ridiculous thing. I was told by one of my relatives that we don't need to have the government in the internet business because then they'll be able to control the message and it'll be like North Korea. Then they can pick and choose about what gets made or what gets out and what doesn't. That's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's not going to be like North Korea, you bunch of brainwashed morons. I think the liquor's working because now I'm starting to get fired up. I started to get angry because, as I said, I went through probably an 8-9 month decompression period. And now the fog is lifted. I'm finally starting to see clearly. And now I'm starting to see what all these news outlets are. It's just complete brainwashing. So basically what I did was, as I said, I stopped watching news, stopped listening to radio. And then I started going through Facebook. And anytime anybody shared any sort of news article, didn't matter if it was conservative, if it was liberal, if it was mainstream, if it was alternative, anything that even sort of remotely even touch politics. I clicked on it, chose never show again. Click on it, never show again. Click on it, and not even the article, the source. Click on it, never show the source again. So basically I blocked out pretty much every single alternative news source you could think of, every single mainstream news source you could think of. And then there was a few people on my Facebook list that just nonstop argued and talked about politics. So I just unfollowed them completely. So pretty much I tailored my Facebook feed to be nothing but just pretty much cat pictures and pictures of pizza. So after I was able to get that taken care of, and after I, manually myself stopped listening to radio, stopped watching TV, and all that, it actually became really easy to start blocking all that nonsense out. And I was able to step away from the rat race and focus on, myself, my health, my wife, my work, the things I enjoy, my hobbies. Again, it was like a weight was lifted off my chest. And I just wish that more people I knew, more people I'm friends with, more of my family would also do the same thing. Just completely pull out. Just all the Alex Jones, kick that crap to the curb. Young Turks, kick that crap to the curb. The Sean Hannity, the Megyn Kelly, the Rachel Maddow, the Anderson Cooper, all that stuff. Just kick that garbage to the curb, because that's all it is. Just all trash. It's all garbage. Once we can push all that, occupy Democrats, occupy Republicans, occupy everything, push all that garbage out to the trash can. Bernie Sanders, kick his butt to the curb. Donald Trump, he's out of here. Just all politicians. No more politicians. No more nothing. Just push it all out. Every bit of it. Push it all out. Once we can do that, I think that we as a society would be at a point to where we could start to talk with each other. We could start to understand. I could go out to the mailbox. I could see my neighbor. I could wave. If they're having a problem, I could go over there. It would just be a much better society if we would just get all this garbage out, because all that stuff is doing, it's dividing us. It's division, and it's meant to be division. And the guys at the top, they know that. They're purposely pulling the strings, making us divided against each other, because they know if we're fighting against each other about who's freaking kneeling some ridiculous song, then basically they can do what they do up at the top while nobody's paying attention. So that's how they're going out and bombing Libya, and that's how they're, sending troops to South Korea and all this other stuff, because we're not paying attention to that stuff. We're paying attention to whether or not net neutrality is for the free market or not. We're paying attention to this asinine nonsense crap that just doesn't matter. Nobody's paying attention to anything that actually matters, anything that's going to affect our lives. We're all paying attention to this superfluous nonsense. It's just garbage. It's trash. And as soon as we can get all these figures out, just unfollow all this trash on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just hide it, block it, kick it out, everything. Then until we get to that point, we're just going to be at each other's throats. I get so sick and tired of seeing stupid Nancy Pelosi getting on the TV and trying this all stupid nonsense. Oh, well, we were trying to do something, and then the Republicans, and then seeing stupid, idiot, freaking moron, stupid Mitch McConnell coming on TV. Oh, well, we were trying to do something, and then the Democrats, blah, blah, blah. It's like, do you idiots not understand that this is America? It's one country. It's not Democrats. It's not Republicans. It's not Libertarians. It's not Green Party. It's the United States. What they need to do is start from the top down and come up with a better way of trying to fix issues at the White House, in Congress, Supreme Court, all the way down to the state, the county, the city, the local government, all this other stuff. It's just so ridiculous. All these politicians are morons. They don't know what they're talking about. They're idiots. And the more we can tune out the politicians, tune out the news, tune out the pundits, then the better we can start to come up with a better understanding of ourselves, of our friends, of our neighbors, and have a better life, So yeah, in closing, I challenge everybody to do what I did and just completely pull out. You'll have a better life, and you'll be more at ease. You'll be able to sigh a breath of relief. If you follow Nancy Pelosi, block her. If you follow Mitch McConnell, block him. If you follow Harry Reid, block him. If you follow Paul Ryan, block him. Block Donald Trump. Block them all. Block the whole lot of them, because they're all idiots. And then block Fox News, block CNN, block MSNBC, block ABC News. Just block all those guys. Block InfoWars, block Young Turks, block all the alternative media people. Just block them all. The whole lot of them. Block them all. So I guess I don't have much else to say. I just wanted to get that off my chest and let you all know that it's just been. I know I'm shouting and raving like a lunatic on this video. It's mostly the alcohol, but it's been a very peaceful year, and it's most definitely been a peaceful past 4 months because I've finally noticed for the first time in a while that the clouds are gone, the sun shines out. I'm thinking for myself. I'm not being pulled and pulled in, sucked in. I don't feel like I'm being, like Stretch Armstrong being pulled from side to side. It's nice. So yeah, thanks for watching and peace out.